know it hasn't been here. Like that, there's a plug-in way up here on the wall. It's very weird. What's gonna plug in there? Night light. I don't know. I never paid attention to it. And this is like a handicap apartment building. So why is it way? I don't know. Maybe it's for the top. Who knows? But anyway, welcome back to the Pick 10 2000s. Trying to finish these up. Jumper. I actually went to the theater to see this when it came out back in 2008. And I thought this, I say, I watched a movie that I liked back then and now I see the problems. This is the opposite. I like it. Maybe I like it a little bit better than I did back then. I actually really like this film. I know Hayden Christensen gets a lot of hate for the Star Wars prequels, which is warranted. Trust me, they could have casted it better. But the worst thing isn't his acting, it's the whole arc they put Anakin in. It didn't work. He should have been older in the first movie. Qui-Gon shouldn't exist, and I don't know. I'm not going to get into Star Wars. It's a completely different story. I'm just saying. But this tells the story of David, a teenager who finds out he has the power to teleport anywhere he wants. So he does, and takes anything he wants. He's going all willy-nilly, taking stuff. Eventually, he becomes Hayden Christensen, and now there's these paladins are after him, led by Roland, played by Samuel L. motherfucking Jackson. And, but this is a PG-13 movie, so you don't really get that. That's okay. But in running from them, it leads him back home to his lost love of sorts, a crush named Millie, played by Rachel Bilson, who they did eventually get married and have a kid, so something good to come out of this. And also another jumper played by Jamie Bell, named Griffin, who comes into play later. So, so right away though, I do see why people criticize this movie, because it starts off so cliche, where it's like, oh, hey, let me tell you my story. The basic, I bet you're wondering how I got here. I'm standing on a pyramid in the middle of Egypt. I bet you're wondering how this happened. That sort of thing. And it takes you, I did this today. Like, he goes through the whole thing. I was at a basketball game. I did this all before lunchtime or whatever. And it's like, okay, he's cocky. And so then it cuts back to him as a teenager. Let me tell you, casting younger versions of characters, sometimes they get lazy and just, put a wig on an actor, de-age him a little bit, that sort of thing. Oh, you're going to be clean-shaved in this, but you're going to have a beard for most of the movies. You're going to film with your beard the entire movie, and then you're going to shave it off, and you're going to be younger. No, they actually get younger actors here. Max Thuralt, who you might know from My Soul to Take. He was Bug in My Soul to Take. Plays the younger version of Hayden Christensen. And this is spot on casting. They look like they could be brothers. He could look like he could be the younger version of him. Perfect. Anna Sophia Robb as Millie, however, they had to put a wig on her to make her look like she had darker hair, but it's fine. And then the bully, I forgot who he was, but the bully is from somewhere too. It's Jesse James, the actor Jesse James. He was in the Amityville Horror, an episode of Angel. The Butterfly Effect is the younger version. The older version, I don't recognize the actor, but this did come off a little awkward to me, because it's like Jesse James plays the bully, and so David gives Millie this snow globe, and Bully's like, hey, what's this? Oh, look, you shake it, you can see the buildings. He's like, give it back. He's like, okay. Flings it onto the ice. He's like, oh, sorry, didn't know my own strength. Come on. So David decides, I'm going to go get it. So he walks out there, and he's like, the bully is even like, hey, David, it's not worth it, man. I'm just like, well, you threw it out there. This is the weirdest bully. It's like later, the adult version's like, hey, David, remember me, your old buddy? I'm like, oh, buddy? What? And then he's a dick to him. He's like, hey. And then he's like, make up your damn mind. Are you a bully or are you his friend? It just doesn't make any sense. But David falls to the ice, and he teleports for the first time to the library. Now, we find that with jumpers, they go to places that they're used to, which is why he jumps to his old room, to the library, that kind of stuff. Places he's been before, easier to jump to. We also find out that there are these paladins chasing after. We find out later his home life isn't very good either. He's raised by a single parent in a young adult book, in a movie based on a young adult book. You don't say. But yeah, the mom left when he was younger. Not sure why. We do find out why. But yeah, and his dad is played by Michael Rooker, so that's a plus. That's a thumbs up right there. But he eventually does take off. Yeah, I can do this. Robs a bank. He goes around the world. The only problem I have is that, like, don't they mark bills that are in banks? So, like, even if you stole them, you wouldn't be able to spend them. Because if you did, they'd be able to track him right away, right? Even if he's jumping around, they'd be able to, I don't know. However, we find out there's another jumper named Griffin, played by Jamie Bell. Also around, he's kind of following the places here and there. But, eventually he ends up back in his hometown, being chased by the, I think it was after that, but I don't know. So he decides, I'm going to reconnect with Millie since I'm here. Since he accidentally jumped into the library again. He's like, or his room or whatever. His dad's still living there apparently. But he goes to find Millie, he finds the bully instead, he talks to Millie, they reconnect, he say, hey, I was thinking of going to Rome. So he takes her to Rome on a flight, he doesn't jump her there. He actually pays money to get 2 seats on a flight and go to Rome. And then he starts doing jumping here and there. But this also not only brings in the attention of Griffin, but the Paladins. Led by Roland, who is... And so, it's one of those moral questions with the villains. Like, they're doing this because they say that the jumpers are untrustworthy, they're too volatile, they all turn bad, and it's not right, so they kill the jumpers because they can't be controlled or something like that. I don't know, it's one of those moral dilemmas where, like, yeah, you're trying to stop them from wreaking havoc, but you're also killing people, so it's not really, a good thing that you're doing here, but, yeah. Even David's like, I'm different. No, they're all bad. And it's like, well, how do you know that? It's presented to us like he just kills them without even getting to know these people first. There is one criticism, though. I want to say, I like the differences between Griffin and David, but the problem is they go too much into Griffin's differences that it pushes him away from David and forces conflict where it's not needed. Biggest instance is towards the end of the movie that it feels like, we have to do this so we can squeeze out a 90-minute time limit, which it barely does by 2 minutes less. So, yeah, because David sends Millie back after there's a showdown with Griffin and the Paladins, and he says, hey, we need to team up to take these guys down. He's like, I don't team up with people. I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't team up with people. I'm a loner. He lives like a little cave or something. But it's a lair, whatever. But they eventually do work together. But David is forced to bring Millie with him when they show up. Like, they reveal that, like, they're tracking the tails or whatever they're called when they jump. But, which is why Griffin's getting all pissed, because they can track you! But he jumps through with Millie to the hideout, but they have a machine that can connect and they can jump through, so he's kind of screwed them over. But Griffin is able to disable the machine, but Roland takes Millie. So now David's like, oh, we have to go get her, which, yes, you should just go, save her, work together. Nope, we got to run down 10 minutes of this movie, so let's have them fight. Even though they already sort of had a conflict earlier, they're going to have a conflict now, they're going to fight, and we're just going to write Griffin out of the movie by saying he was stuck in an electrical thing and can't move. So he's gone from the film. You know, he could have been a great use at the end. Nope, this feels like they just had to burn 10 minutes of screen time to get it to 90 minutes. So we had this little fight between them, ending with him stuck in another country, an electrical thing, because they show earlier, you know, they play into this very well with what they show. They show that electricity messes with you when David is stuck to the wall. And there also is a thing earlier where Griffin talks about a guy who tried to move an entire house, to jump an entire house, which does come into play later. So eventually, David has to confront them at Millie's apartment, but there's a trap, and he gets like hit with the cables, but he still tries to jump, even though when he tried to jump before and it didn't work, but now because of plot reasons it has to work. And he jumps the entire apartment, including himself and Millie, into the lake from the beginning of the movie. And there's a little thing here where they jump back into the library. But then David is unconscious. And it's supposed to imply, because they were going to do a sequel, this never happened, but they're supposed to imply that, because in the books, Millie learns to jump. So this was supposed to imply that she did it because David was unconscious when they landed. So, you know. But Roland came with them, which I feel like wouldn't happen unless it was just because they were in the water together. But he's somehow able to jump though, and grabs Roland, excuse me, I blanked on the name, and jumps him to this in the middle of nowhere place, cave thing, and says, I told you I'm different, and leaves him there, and then jumps back. And it's like, I understand that you're different, but here's something you could have done. You could have taken out the entire fight with him and Griffin to instead have a setup where Griffin helps him take down some of the rogue paladins, right? Saves Millie, takes her away, and then he jumps Roland to that place. They have a fight, and he leaves him for dead. He's not dead. He's like, he could do the killing blow, stops, and says, come on, do it. Do it. And it's PG-13, you can get one. Do it, motherfucker. I told you, I'm different. And then jumps back. So, you could have done it that way, instead of having that filler fight between them, but you didn't. And then we have a little more scene, but this is a character building scene, so I can excuse it. He goes to find his mother, and we see Kristen Stewart, of all people, playing his half-sister, I guess. And he talks to his mother. His mother explains he was 5 years old when he first jumped, so it was either kill him, or take him in, or leave, or kill him, so she left. And he was 5, so he didn't understand it. I don't know. I feel like most movies came out around this time would have them on the run from people, but it would be kind of like Push, which did that as well, and Terminator, which did it better, in my opinion, on the run. Especially in this show. But Yeah, and then it ends with them it's being cold, and it's like, can we go someplace warmer? And then they jump. I made a joke. I'm like, can we go someplace warmer? Surface of the sun it is. Wait, David. No, it ends there. No surface of the sun though. He's not that stupid, but can you go that far? I know, like I was reading up. Apparently, they can jump through space and through time, which I would have loved to be explored. If I was to do like a top 10 movies I wish had gotten a sequel, this would be in there. I was all in when this came out. I'm like, yeah. I know there's sequel books, as well as to Push. They were gonna do a sequel to Push too. I would have loved sequels to them, both of these. But yeah, and I don't think Hayden Christensen is that bad. He's better in here than he is in the Star Wars movies, at least. He was also good in the Vanishing on Fourth Street, whatever it was. That was good. He was good in that, at least. But yeah, this is. I'm gonna say it's pretty good. I know a lot of people would say, "Oh, it's probably a middle of the road," or straight not worth your time. But for me, it's pretty good. I enjoy this film. The acting is pretty good. Samuel Jackson as a villain is pretty good. I like the two protagonists. The only thing I would say, I even like Jamie Bell's character to a point, but I feel like there's too much push. There's a character dynamic where he's willy-nilly. Where David is more willy-nilly. He's more optimistic. Where Griffin has lived in this world for the longest time. He understands everything. He knows about everything. He's pessimistic because he knows how bad it can get. So it's that dynamic. But with Griffin, they push too far away instead of where they should have teamed up at the end. I've also seen people talk about how it should have been Griffin's story, which, yeah, I think the video game was about that, wasn't it? I don't know, but yeah, I still think it's pretty good. So, what are your thoughts on Jumper? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I almost ended the video, but you know what? I forgot we have to do this. But because we only have 2 left, right? We actually gonna flip a coin this time. So we're gonna flip. Ready? East. I'll do it again because it kind of flipped. Alright, so. Tails. What does that mean? Well, heads was the top DVD. Tails is the bottom. Okay, see? You got a top one, a bottom one. Tails equals the second one here. So. Now we only have 2 left. Aha! I kind of knew it. Friday Night Lights. I knew this was going to be the last one I did. Which means the last one is going to be... I forgot. Secondhand Lions. That's another good one. So, Friday Night Lights is next. Never seen this movie at all. So I'm very interested in it. Look at how shiny these kids. Shiny! I'm also going to try and do an unboxing later today as well. So, we'll see. Yeah, thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.